What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Chasing Daylight podcast. Not our typical Tuesday night live show. Tonight, I am recording an interview with Jackson Davison and Mike. I am not even going to try to say your last name. These two gentlemen are the co-founders of Xchange Golf. And if you have paid any attention to the podcast over the last couple months, we've been talking about this. They have a fantastic product that is out that helps you, make adjustments to a putter, but keep the head the same. So, gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us. And it's Vriezema, by the way.
Vriezema. Okay, I'll put my last name and
just call him Vriez. Vriez.
Yeah. I've heard every butchering you can possibly imagine.
Yeah, I have 9 letters in my last name with 1 vowel. So, yeah, it's fun. So,
yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Jeff Walk has connected us, and you guys sent me out some products. I threw some Garson grips on a couple different variants. So I've got one putter head with 3 different styles of grips on it. It's a very unique product, and we're going to get into the product, I promise. That's one of the reasons we're here for. But when I do these interviews, I love hearing the stories about your backgrounds, about what made you go, let's make a putter shaft that can adapt to different lengths and grip styles, but keeping the head the same. So, Jackson, let's start with you. What's your background in the game, and what turned you on to starting Xchange Golf?
Well, I'll be completely honest. Me getting into this side of the business is what started Xchange Golf. It just happened a long time ago. Background, moved to Florida after playing college golf in Grand Rapids at Davenport University, and moved down there to kind of chase playing golf, and ended up getting a job fitting golf clubs at a golfsmith down there, and kind of getting into the equipment tech side of things and starting to learn how to fit people for golf clubs. And that was in 2013, probably at the peak of when fitting equipment started really becoming extremely advanced and a little bit more mindful of what people are looking for. And so, long story short, ended up moving on, taking a job as an assistant golf professional at a private club just outside of Orlando called Tuscaloosa. And that led me kind of across the country to Florida, back to Michigan, playing mini tours, crossing the country, ended up in Grand Rapids at a place called Quail Ridge, and then ended up down in Southwest Michigan called Harbor Shores, and that's where I'm currently at. And I'm the PGA head golf professional there, and have been there for about 9 years now. And so let's backtrack. That was 9 years since I started at Harbor Shores, minus another 5 or 6. That brings us back to about 2014. And in 2014, and that, excuse my terrible math, it was never a strong suit. In 2014, I was standing over there at Tuscaloosa, and I was regripping actually my own putter. And I was a diehard blade guy, and I was putting with the Scotty Cameron Newport Ceruleum. I was never, ever going to give it up. It was my forever putter. Talk to me now, and that's not necessarily the case, but at that time, I was committed to putting with it, and I really, really enjoyed putting with the blade. And I was cutting off, probably at that point was a very expensive classic Scotty Cameron grip that, is probably worth way more money now than it was back then. And, as I was slicing it with the hook blade, I was thinking, what if I ever wanted to go back to this? And here I am, I'm investing $25 into this new Super Stroke. And what happens if I don't even like that? And mind you, I'm a assistant golf professional getting paid not a ton of money back in 2013 and first year in the business. not struggling, but, playing mini tour golf and trying to figure out how to make money out there and how to stay afloat. So those $25 grip changes are important. And not only are they important for making money on the golf course, but they're important if you don't like it and you have to spend more money on a new grip. So that's where it all stemmed. And I was fortunate enough to have support playing the mini tours, and I had a gentleman who was, extremely gracious with helping me get through that. And I went to him and talked to him and said, hey, I got this idea. What do you think it would take to kind of get it going? And he said, well, you're going to need to have an engineer that's going to be able to bring the idea to life. And you're also going to need to hire a patent lawyer, and that's going to be about $10,000. And so right then and there, I was like, all right, well, I'll just keep this idea to myself then, because I don't have any of that. And unless I win about 10 mini tour events in a row, I probably still wouldn't have enough. And then you fast forward to about 2 years ago, 2024, and Mike, who, he'll get into it, but he, long story short, he builds putters, and he builds, he's got a CNC mill, and he's a very, very talented, not only club builder, but a talented engineer. And his creative mind never stops working. So he builds.
I said that's a good thing.
It is a great thing. And he builds so I got the idea for doing our member guest trophies. He built the putters for us, and I kind of started thinking, all right, well, he's obviously got the brain. He's got some of the tools.
Engineer, come on now.
Yeah. It was like that. It was like immediately I was like, Mike and I had already had a relationship prior to that. I actually gave his dad golf lessons long before I actually knew who Mike was. And Mike and I developed a relationship throughout that year, and that's what led to kind of the putter conversation with the trophies. And, I was comfortable bringing the idea to his attention, just say, hey, what do you think about this? And I'll never forget it. And he had a prototype on my desk in like 48 hours. And I'm
Gotta love 3D printers, man.
Right?
And I'm like, I'm sitting there like, holy shit, like this is real. And, to be completely fair, and I apologize to my brother because he will inevitably see this. Sorry, Trent. But I brought the idea to him, and he is also an engineer, and we talked about it. But this was when I was like, 20, 25, 26 years old. And he was just starting at his job, and we're talking about building this amazing product and building a business off of it. And, I think it just came down to time and the reality of whether or not we could bring it to life. And, then, God bless my brother, but we thought through it very quickly, and we didn't think that much beyond that. And so the conversation with Mike and having a prototype on the desk that fast, I was just like, this is possible. And so then we started talking through and going through the iterations of what things look like. And, my, I wouldn't say expertise, but my knowledge of golf clubs, my knowledge of how they need to perform, my knowledge of what they need to set up like. And Mike he's a great listener, and he took all that and he refined it over and over and over and over. And in product development, which is kind of what he specialized in and what he'll talk about, that was in his DNA. And together we built something that we thought was going to be good. And we took it to the USGA and kind of went through the compliance program of
What was
of
that?
it was
Don't even get me
honestly yeah, but all things considered, they were amazing to work with.
Yeah, totally.
And it was very easy, and they were open. They were open for discussion. They were open for suggestions. They were very helpful with telling us kind of where our originals needed to be modified, and that's ultimately what was able to lead us to where we're at with our current product, and in the XG1 being USGA compliant with kind of the rules of adjustability for golf clubs and golf equipment. That was the big kicker. We needed to be compliant with the rules of adjustability. And once we were able to meet the criteria there, I mean, we filed for our patent like 2 days after we got certified from the USGA, and we're like, all right, we got this.
Yeah.
And I think we filed for the business like 3 days after, and we were pumped. We were really, really excited, and we knew it was going to be a challenge and a hurdle, but like I said, he's a very good product developer, and that's in his DNA, and I can't be more fortunate and more blessed that we were able to cross paths and just bounce ideas off each other. And he happened to listen to a 10-year-old idea that I had that somehow nobody else has ever. It seems like other people have tried to think of it, but nothing that has been playable, and nothing that has been quite what we have, which is really special.
All right, Mike, before we get into your story, Jackson, you said something, forever putter. It wasn't my forever putter, but do you have a forever putter now?
No.
No, okay.
I have a forever
I don't know
putter.
too many people that have a forever putter.
Well, I said it to Mike last year, and I said it to my TaylorMade rep. God bless you, Callaway guys, but I've been a TaylorMade staffer for a long time. So thanks to Garrett Smith, and shout out to him. And him and I have had a lot of conversations. And I told him last year, I said, I want to find my forever putter. Like, the last year was the depths of my putting, and I wanted to commit to something, stick to something, and have the ability to change the feel while I was keeping something relatively constant. And, we can dive into it a little bit this year, but I thought I found what was going to be that forever putter. And I thought,
what is it?
Well, Spider. And then I found Spider ZT, and I was like, wow, this is even better. Currently,
you almost convinced me to buy one.
I'm still going to. Don't. There's still a lot of time left in your golf career, Mike. But the funny thing this year is I found that one thing was constant. And I've gone through 3 heads this year. I went from a Spider Tour or a Spider X with a kind of that long, flowy slant neck. And then I went to the ZT. And then and what I'm currently gaming is a Spider X with the short slant. And the one thing that's remained constant is the grip. And that I thought was a pretty amazing thing to be able to do is switch head to head. I thought I was going to be switching grips.
Yeah.
And that's quite frankly the reason why this idea came to life, is being able to switch grips and switch the feel. But I'm currently putting with the Garson quad tour pistol, non-tapered, and I love it.
Good man.
It's amazing. And I putted with it on my Spider Tour with the flowy slant neck. I putted with it with my ZT.
Shout out, Gard.
And ultimately, my favorite combination this year is putting with it with the short slant. And so what I thought was going to be my reason for our product actually was the opposite use case that I knew was available. I just didn't think it would apply to me. I'm one that is very triggered by how the putter feels in my hand, and that starts with the grip. And so I thought, okay, if I can find a head that I like, I can maybe modify the feel. And we all know when something feels good, it changes your mentality with putting.
Absolutely.
I'll probably go against a lot of putter fitters, and I'll go against a lot of gear junkies that truly believe in tech and science, which I also believe in. But the reality is the feel is in your hands, and if it doesn't feel good, you're gonna have a tough time making putts that matter.
Yeah.
Overall, your statistics might go up, but as a competitive golfer and somebody that still competes, and what I think is I try to compete at a high enough level, you're gonna have to make putts that matter, and you can't fall back on data to make those putts. It's got to be instincts. It's got to be feel.
That's something with me with the ZT craze and the lab putter craze. Yeah, they feel amazing. I can't not look at that much onset. It just is so like unpleasant for me to look down and see that much club between the shaft and the ball. It's just it's so awkward.
It was enough of a change for me where, like, we know that big changes can lead to big result changes. Going from what I was so familiar with, and I've been putting with a Spider for quite a while now, and I've been bouncing back and forth from maybe the TP Reserve series and going from Blade to like the Fang and different models of that, but ultimately Spider I landed on, and I always kept gravitating back to it. And the stability of the Spider has always been proven, and putters that are designed like it, they thrive. People thrive with them. The reality is if you don't feel comfortable stroking it, don't stroke it. Go stroke something different.
Yep.
And that's where the ZT looked totally different to me. And I wasn't going to, like I said, I've been so fortunate with TaylorMade that I don't have to go spend the amount of money to go buy the big time zero torque putters. And so I said, all right, well, I'll get this ZT a chance. I love the idea of zero torque. I want to see if I like it. I want to see if it looks good. And they did a great job with the ZT, and I think it looks good enough to me. And it was a big enough change where I started feeling different about putting. And then you start seeing them go in, and you start developing a belief in what you're doing is right, and the technology, and the wand is doing the work. And you as a putter, you're going to make your best strokes when you feel good about it. And as an instructor, it's one of those things where when I talk to people about putting, there are the dynamics of teaching the stroke, but it's more or less be comfortable, stand comfortable. Jack Nicklaus his stance was a little bit unconventional, but he was comfortable.
Yeah, comfortable for him. That's all that mattered.
How about Ben Crenshaw? You're talking some of the best putters and maybe the best clutch putters of all time. I mean, Tiger, a little bit of an open stance, but all things considered, maybe he has the most fundamentally sound putter stance amongst all the best putters that have ever putted. It's a comfort thing, and for me, it was finding comfort in what I was looking at, what was in my hands, what it felt like. And you putt with instincts, and that's ultimately what's going to help you make putts when it really matters.
All right, engineer.
Time
to nerd out.
Yeah.
Yeah, here you go. My drink.
So I was born and raised in St. Joe, Michigan, where I currently live, and kind of always had an engineering mind. Went to school in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and got an mechanical engineering degree. And I've been a lifetime golfer. My parents are members of a country club from when I was 2, and so I had lessons from as soon as they would let us on the range. And great way to grow up. Just having that availability there. And yeah, so once I got my degree, I moved back to St. Joe, and I started at Whirlpool Corporation. I was a product development engineer at Whirlpool, and
I blame you for my washer and dryer issues.
yeah, if you need any dryer help, let me know. Chances are I worked on it.
My refrigerator's warm. Is that bad?
Plug it in. Yeah, so I worked on dryers for 8 years, from 2013 to 2021. Actually, no, 2020. And I moved to advanced development at Whirlpool literally 2 weeks before COVID happened. So got through COVID, was still in advanced development, and I really learned, like, I took the development side of things that I learned in, like, we called it the platform team, kind of some of the things I learned there, and was able to apply that to advanced development. And that's where we worked on a lot of stuff that never would really even see the light of day. But a lot of, like, hey, this is an idea we have for what a customer might need. And so just kind of a lot of iteration. Like, that was kind of our thing, is how do we prove out a concept fast? And I really had a knack for that. I had a pretty deep understanding of different manufacturing processes, and also prototyping. So while I was there, I learned how to operate a CNC mill, and which ultimately led to making my first putters from a billet of steel. And so that's actually how this whole conversation with Jackson started. Is I do a weekend golf trip with some buddies every year, and the rule is, and we all grew up on the same neighborhood, and the rule is the loser from the previous year has to provide merch for our trip the following year, and it has to be branded. We call it the Westwood Golf Association because that was the street we grew up on. And so I was like, and I lost bad the year before, and I'm like, I'm just gonna one up everyone, and I'm gonna make 4 custom putters and make them from scratch. It's gonna have our logo was Google Maps trace of the neighborhood with stars where each of our houses were. Nice. And so I suffered my way through machining my first putter, and I took it to Jackson, and I was like, hey, I didn't even know how to put in a double bent, because at that time it was just a blade, and I just did a bore for a double bent shaft. And I had no clue about loft and lie and all that stuff. And I take it to Jackson. I was like, hey, I need you to shaft this for me. And he looks at me, he's like, how the hell did you break a putter? Thinking like I snapped the shaft and I needed a new one. And I was like, no,
I've broken a few putters. It's okay.
I've broken a wedge for good reason. And then Jackson, he was like, you made this? And, you were pretty blown away by it, even though I thought it was not the greatest craftsmanship. And then a couple days later, he called me and asked about the member guest tournament, if I'd be willing to make putters for them. I apologized to the members who got those putters, because they're the early versions. The best putter I make is the next one. And that kind of just blossomed, like Jackson said, that blossomed into hey, I've got an idea. Can I buy you lunch? And talk through the idea. And I've got an entrepreneurial brain and desire. And when he mentioned the idea, the brain just started firing. I was like, okay, sweet, business opportunity, and it's got engineering challenges. Like, it's not easy. And yeah, it took us probably 2 years. And how many prototypes do you think we had, Jackson? 6 or 7?
Yeah.
From 3D printed to poorly machined to but we finally found something.
Did he warn you ahead of time? Hey, the golf space is nasty.
He did not.
Yes.
But you know what? That's the beauty of it. Is like, it's not for everyone, and like, we know that some people, they're fine just playing a stock Scotty Cameron or a stock Odyssey, and that's okay. Like, yeah. But for the people that really want to tinker, I have forever been. I mean, I got new clubs last year, and I was playing clubs that I got fit for in high school. Oh, and wow. So they were 17-year-old Titleist irons. And it's just like, I just never been the gear junkie style person. I'm Dutch, which you could tell by the last name, so I still have a hesitancy to drop money on golf equipment, but maybe that's why I make putters.
Not on a CNC mill.
Well, true. Yeah, I have the mentality of, why spend money on it when I can make it for twice as much?
You're an investor.
Eventually, it'll pay itself off.
Eventually, yeah. Eventually. When I'm 80.
Yeah.
79 putters later.
Yeah. Are you still making putters now?
Yeah, I've started doing a lot of like divot tools and ball markers and stuff. I still make putters. I actually have a design that I'm working on. I've never had like a mid mallet or like a fastback or double wide blade, and so I'm trying to play with something like that. The hard thing is, I've always liked the look of a blade, and I know the technology and the science and the data says, oh, mallets are where it's at, and I tried out the Phantom 5 and I liked it, but I didn't like looking at it. And I had made basically my own version of a like a Scotty 009. And I love the way it looked. And you do the putting gate drill and you try different things, and that says that the mallet is better. But when I actually stand over a putt when it matters, I'd rather be looking at that blade. And like, I put no engraving, nothing on it, even though I have the laser engraver to do it. I just want to look at, like, I made the putter I wanted to look at.
Yeah.
And that's the fun part about it too, is I have the ability to do that.
I'm obsessed with putting, because I'm not a big hitter. The Joe, Jeremy, and Dan, the other 3 guys on the show, they all hit the ball a country mile. They're 300 yards, they're 320. They're big hitters, and they got the other parts of the game to match. But I'm not a big hitter. I rely on my short game, and so I said there's no reason why I can't be the best putter in the group. There's nothing, you don't have to be big and fast and strong and athletic to be a great putter. There's nuances to it. And so I, over the last year, have really dug in on the putting analytics. I had Preston Combs. I don't know if you're familiar with Preston's putting. He's a putting instructor based in Florida. Had him on the show. He came into town. We went through a fitting, or a lesson, I guess you could say. And that blew me away. I have the Vertex software for data analytics because I work for Callaway. We have the GC quads, and so I have that putting software. And I'm known as the mayor of Tinkertown. I have probably 25 putters in my closet that I don't rotate them as much as I used to. I'm pretty dead set. I'm not going to call it my forever putter, but it's in my bag the longest right now. It's a blade putter. But I mean, once I got my length right, once I got my lie angle right, and once I got my posture and my setup and everything right that Preston's been working on with me, my putting has gotten so much better. And so I'm obsessed with it. So when I saw this, I was like, whoa, this is kind of cool. So who's the media guy between you two? Who's the one that, like, if somebody needs to be pitched, who's talking?
Jackson.
Probably.
All right, Jackson. The floor is yours. Pitch the audience on Xchange Golf.
So glad I didn't say me.
Well, I mean, it doesn't get any more simple than find your feel. And there's not a product out there that allows you to do that. And, you know, it's finally a product that gives you the freedom to make changes, obviously at the appropriate times, to find out what's going to work best for you. And, you know, for me, I think the elevator pitch is, it doesn't have to be one putter. It doesn't have to be one grip. You don't have to be married to it. Feel comes and goes. And you're allowed to make changes against maybe the popular opinions of what people think is concrete. And for us, it's about allowing tinkerers to truly tinker.
Oh, I'm tinkering.
Without, well, I think it's allowing tinkerers to tinker without wasting.
Mm-hmm.
Because who's to say that what you put on your grip isn't something, you may not like it in the first 5 minutes. You may not like it in the first 5 days. You may not like it in the first 5 weeks. You may love it in the first 5 minutes, but hate it after the next 5 weeks. Who's to say that you're not going to go back and love it again? You may make changes.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you work with a very talented coach. And I assume everything you guys work on falls in line with the changes you're making are going to be what's best for you. And what's best for you may not be what's on your handle. So then you look at it and you go, oh, wait, I've putted with something on my handle that accommodates what I'm trying to achieve right now in my putting. So let's use thin grip versus wide grip. If what you're working on is maybe connection and getting a little less hands involved, but you're currently putting with a thin grip and your coach says, we gotta stabilize a little bit, and it might be best that your hands are a little bit more separated. Have you ever thought about a wider grip? And you, well, I've thought about it, but I really like this grip, and I don't want to cut it off and put a new one on, because then if I don't like it, I'm gonna have to go back.
And that is the worst. That is the absolute worst.
It when you think about it, 2 grips nowadays, I mean,
$60.
It's $60 plus install plus time. I mean, gosh, it's a lot to ask.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reality. Is it's for people that enjoy trying something different, to see something different, to get a different result. And I teach golf. Excuse me. I try to teach golf and try to teach people to get away from result-based training and maybe training themselves with consequences and maybe training themselves a little bit more process-based. So what about your process is going to lead you to the equipment that you're using? And there's a lot to be said about that. But at the end of the day, if it feels good and you're seeing the ball start on the line that you want to start it on, nothing beats that. And if your speed is good, then Nothing beats that. So you can putt with the greatest putter in the world. You can putt with Tiger's Scotty, Newport 2 that he putted and made millions and millions and millions of dollars with. You're not going to be able to maybe see the results that he saw. You may love the blade, but the Ping PP58 or whatever it was that he's got on it may not be best that's in your hands. May not be the worst.
But yeah, I play with the Ultimate or the bigger Garson grip. I played with the Max for a little while.
What did you play with as a junior golfer?
Oh, I didn't play golf when I was younger.
When did you start playing golf?
I mean, I played with my friend in high school, but I'm a natural lefty, and so I couldn't play golf unless I used my friends' clubs that were all right-handed. So I had to learn how to play right-handed as a lefty, and then it just stuck with me. A couple years later, I said, "Oh, I'm going to try the lefty thing," and immediately went right back to playing right-handed because.
I've thought about putting left-handed. I'm pretty good at it too.
I posted some videos. I posted some videos on my IG page because I can swing left-handed, and it's actually everybody says, "Dude, you've got a really good left-handed swing." I'm like, "Yeah, but the ball doesn't go anywhere where I want it to, so not even gonna mess with it."
That's a great skill to have in your back pocket if you're up against a tree or something.
Some of the best shots I've ever pulled off are turning a club over because I have no fear of doing it,
right?
No issues at all.
I don't think I'd even hit the ball. I just take my punch wherever I can and just move on.
Matt, what drives you to the Garson Ultimate, and what were you putting with before you decided to switch to the Ultimate?
So I was playing with the typical quad tour tapered. I found, right as soon as Bernie hit the market, I ran across his stuff and reached out and I've been putting with a Garson for a really long time. Never have been a fan of that SS brand as far as putter shafts or putter grips go. And I've tried a couple other, the Lampkins and everything, but this always felt great in my hands. But when I started working with Preston and when I have a swing coach as well, Tim Flote out of San Antonio, shout out Tim Flote. And I was struggling with my putting and he said, I want you to just go watch some videos on Cameron Smith. He has one of the purest setups and putting strokes on the planet right now. Just go watch him and try to mimic what he's doing. And so I saw a video that he did through the Live channel about how he grips a putter. And that I love the grip, but it was a little too much with the smaller handle. So with this grip, my hands just they marry the grip. And it just is absolutely, it's one thing I never, ever have to think of. Because I've tried left hand low, I've tried different grips, the interlocking. I would never go to the what's this one?
Claw. We can't be friends.
Didn't get that desperate, but so when I switched to that,
I'm living off the claw after I decided I wasn't good at anything else.
Yeah, and I was close. I mean, I was close. I even was like, do I need to go to a long putter? I was like, but as soon as I held that grip in my hand with that grip applied, it's like it's taken every thought of how me holding the club is gone. It's just not even there anymore. And that, for somebody that is crazy, stupid, analytical, for me standing over going, all right, hips, doing all this, not having that to think about just freed me up so much.
So let me ask you a question. If you love the head, which it sounds like you have your forever head, and then you've got a grip that your hands marry the grip, so to speak, what drives you to be intrigued to our product where it could benefit you even as a tinkerer? Is it something where you're always looking for maybe that opportunity for something to even be better?
Yeah,
Or I guess
I am
how
somebody-
often would you be utilizing the technology to its full potential?
So there was two things. First one is I'm never going to be satisfied with a great performance because I know I missed a shot somewhere, or I misread a putt, or that lipped out. It could have been better. It could have been better. So I'm always down to try stuff. Always down to try stuff. Like Golf Pride came out with the reverse taper grips, and I gamed one of those for a little while because I liked my right hand being a little. I'm right-handed, so my right hand being quieted a little bit more by that thicker bottom section. That was appealing, and I rolled it for a little while, but ultimately went back to the Garson. And then the other thing is the fitter in me. This is gold for fitting. I mean, the ability, we have with Callaway, we have a big like rifle suitcase with all our heads and all our irons, and then we have shaft walls with all our shafts. For our putter bag, we have 25, 30 putters, and it drives me crazy.
I've seen them all.
Yeah. And
you need a separate vehicle.
it's insane. And so I was thinking, in my brain with your product, I'm like, one rifle case with all of our putter heads with just this little section, right? And then another rifle case with all the different grip length and options. And I'm like, this is gold for a fitting standpoint. If somebody were to come, and I know, oh gosh, I can't remember the name of the company that does just putter fittings. I know they have a lot of detailed info. But if I were to walk up to a fitting and they're like, okay, do you play a blade? Do you play a mallet? What style? But that we've got all of our putter heads here. And what length are you? Okay, you play 34. Okay, we'll get you what you're set up to. And what grip do you like? And then build them that putter and say, here, let's go roll this, see what you think.
Mm-hmm.
That's gold. Because as I was saying earlier before we started recording, you have people come up that have no business playing a 34 or 35 inch putter, and we give them that, and they're like, here, go roll this. Let me tell you all the things that we can change on it to make you a better putter. Can't show you that right now. Just trust me. It's a hard sale.
Well, and so from your experience, how much attention goes into the grip when you're doing a putter fitting? Because it seems to me like it's like, hey, here's the stock grip. We're focusing on the head, and that's just kind of what it is. You can find something you might like off of Golf Galaxy or whatever later on.
It's a challenge in the fitting game because with that same thing, our iron shafts and our driver shafts, our mid-size grips are only on our oversized or over length. The +1, +2s.
I mean, we have the Callaway fitting stuff, and it's I get it. It's weird.
It drives us crazy because so many times people come up and they're playing jumbos and they're older and they've got arthritis and they're like, I can't swing that. Do you have anything that's fatter? And we're like, no, we don't. So it's certainly a challenge. But with putter,
you don't have a compressed air system in your trailer that just.
Hey, I would bring it out if we could.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, it sucks because then you feel like you're letting the people down. I came out here to get fit, and you can't even fit me. So with putters, what we have is what we have. Hey, there's other options clearly, but I think so many people are just used to going to the store, going to the rack, pulling a putter off, rolling it. Oh, I like the way this grip feels. I'm going to stick with this style. And, there's not a lot of ways for people to go, hey, I want you to try this grip. I want you to try this grip. I want you to try this grip on that same head. And let's see if one benefits you more than the other. That's a game changer.
The only way that people have done it is you have half cut shafts and they're on a display, and you're like, do you like that? Do you like that?
Yeah.
Do you like
You got to
that?
have 6 different putters.
I have a perfect example in the last week where you get someone that walks into the golf shop and they buy $400 or $500 putter, making a significant investment into that, and it's almost immediately once their card reader hits the chip and it goes ding, they're like, okay, I want to put a super stroke. I want to put a different grip on this.
Yeah.
Edit it out. I want to put a different grip on this because my buddy plays this grip and I putted with his and I like it.
Yep.
And I want to put that grip on my putter that I just invested, a good amount of money in. And I want to put this grip on because I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Because my buddy likes it. And because I putted with his for like 2 seconds, and I think I like it. And
or because Scotty won last week with it.
With it, yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
But, for a lot of people that are a little bit conscious of the investment in golf and the investment in golf equipment, what happens if you put that on and you say, I got fit at so-and-so wherever, and I got fit for this putter, and you guys have it, and I want to buy it because I was fit for it. And then you slap a new grip on it, and next thing you know, the dynamics change. Everything is different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, one thing that's beautiful about our product is swing weight doesn't change a whole lot. The way it's balanced out, it just doesn't change a whole lot. And
that's one thing that impressed me because
the grips.
I have this Maltby putter, right? And everybody knows GolfWorks. Maltby does this. This thing is amazing, by the way. This is one of the most underrated putters ever. All right, it's the only mallet I'll ever run. I mean, shout out to anybody listening to this that has ever bought a set of forged Maltby clubs from the old GolfWorks catalog. They probably, Golfsmith. They probably still play them. Yeah,
because they're good and they make good stuff.
I put this on, and it has the similarities to how the BGTs go on. Mm-hmm. And Blair is a friend of ours, and I've rolled BGTs in the past. But one of the things that I can't get over with the BGT shafts is they're so freaking light. They're so light, and they feel very hollow to me. I roll LA Golf shafts. I like the 135 all graphite. For me, it works.
Mm-hmm.
So when I put this on, I was kind of expecting that BGT feel. Right? I'm like, okay, it's hollow, And the first putt I hit with it, I went, that's not the same. That's not the same. So I was impressed with the weight and the feel. I thought it was going to dramatically change how the putter feels, and it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I knew, okay, you guys are onto something.
Yeah, and I think the location of where we put the coupling helps with that because it's not too far down where you're adding that swing weight. Mm-hmm. And it took a little bit of development to figure out where, because it's like, okay, someone's got a 33-inch putter and they want to put a 15-inch Garson quad tour on it.
17-inch Ultimate, baby.
yeah. And so that's the challenge, is like, how far down do you go and still make it compatible and without having like added length. And so I feel like we found the happy medium, and it also didn't have a huge impact on the swing weight, and that's kind of why we settled into it. It is a little heavier. I think we're at like 148 grams is kind of our, depending on how long you cut it, but right around there. So it's, it's a little more than the LA Golf one, but still, when it's also about the dispersion of the weight along the shaft as well. And so it's not all head weight that you're adding.
Yeah, I was blown away. I was like, wow, this is kind of cool.
Well, and Jeff asked us the question, and he asked us this, earlier, and just like when you guys landed on what you landed on, why did you land on it? It's like, well, first and foremost, because we needed the dynamics of the shaft. We needed it to be 100% parallel because the connection is cylindrical and it's perfectly machined cylindrical. So we couldn't use taper tip. We couldn't use anything that was obviously changing diameter all the way across. So it had to be perfectly cylindrical as well and parallel. And it's one of those things where you could do a lot of testing and you could play with maybe some different variations, but we put it in there and we're like, is it me or is this really good? Is this like,
Tell me if I'm feeling something here, because
Am I crazy?
it was 100% just that. And
yeah,
I've probably
I
hit,
knew this is ours, but this is good, right?
Yeah.
I've hit hundreds of thousands, if not over 1 million putts in my life. And when something feels good and when something doesn't. And that's what kind of landed us to where we are. It's what we were able to procure to make the concept come to life felt amazing right out of the gate. And I think part of the question was, okay, can we experiment with different weights? Sure, absolutely, we can. However, there's nothing wrong with kind of taking a variation, even if it happens on first, second, third try, and saying, this feels good. And there's a lot of things about it that do feel good. And there's nothing that says that you have to putt with a light putter shaft. And a lot of people benefit from a heavier putter shaft. And a lot of people benefit from a stiffer putter shaft. And there's so much to be said about how that shaft performs, how the putter itself performs. And for the majority of people that are putting with what they're putting with, what's going to give them the best chance to even have a possibility of squaring it up? And you think a little bit heavier, a little bit stiffer might have a lot to do with that. Now, for the purists in the world that are putting with Wilson 8802s, like let's get it as light as possible and let's just Crenshaw that baby all the way down. It's all in the hands, it's all in the hips.
6 degrees of loft.
But that's a different conversation. But
yeah.
Well, and one of the things I really liked about too, and this was right out of the gate, is how connected my hands felt to the club head. I'd always just played stock. I played the Scotty Cameron Circa 62 Butterfly putter my entire high school career. And it wasn't until I started making putters that I changed it. And it was, and that just had I still have the stock Scotty Cameron grip on it and never changed grips. That metal shaft, steel shaft. And as soon as I put this on, it was like, I can feel the putter head. And it's a different feel. Like, it took a little time to kind of get used to the feel change, but ultimately it was a change in a good direction.
Yeah.
And that was just surprising to me. It was like, how connected. And after that, it's like, okay, now I need to just find the grip and tinker with the grip that gives me even more feel. And it gets me even deeper in that rabbit hole, right? Like,
Yeah.
how far can we take this thing? And yeah, it was really cool. Like, and honestly, right now, if I go back and try to hit a putter with a steel shaft on it, it feels like a wet noodle. And I don't know if that's how everyone feels, but that's just how it feels to me. And it's like I'm biased, obviously, but definitely, like, I love the feel of how this shaft feels.
Yeah, something else that it's helped with it, because I have a build shop in my garage, like Jeff does, and I stock a bunch of different Garson grips, and I'm putting grips on for people all the time. But now I can put somebody, like, they're not sure which Garson grip they like. I'm like, okay, well, let me. Before it would be, I'd hand them a just an empty grip and like, here, hold this. How's it feel? Oh, it feels good. Well, but now I can just throw it on. I'm like, hey, roll a putt.
Mm-hmm.
Roll a putt. Now, let's put this grip on. Roll it. Let's put this grip on. Roll it.
30 seconds between putts.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, the quick interchange. It's super easy. It just goes right on.
Mm-hmm.
Right on, and the little set screw, and use your torque wrench, and boom, you're good to go. What did you have any other ideas besides that for the connection?
The first submission that we actually sent to USGA was an actual set screw, and the pin had like a flat machined on it. So then the set screw bites into that flat, so it gives you that repeatable orientation. And there'd be an Allen key that you would have in your bag that you can rotate to tighten it or loosen it. And through the process of conformance, they also look at use case. I'm trying to think of, like, not in the intended way. So can you modify the equipment? If I were to install this where the set screw doesn't bottom out on the flat, then I can actually rotate it, and I can modify my equipment without a tool. And ultimately that was deemed non-conforming. And so we went back to the drawing board. I was pretty disheartened at that point, because I'm like, hey, we got it. And
but
so
then
it was like
what did the non-engineer say?
That ain't gonna fly.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And so ultimately we're like, and Jackson, I think you had the idea, right, of like, what if we just
drive threads right through the pin?
Mm-hmm. And honestly, it had never even registered with me of like tolerance control and how to make sure that this thing like lines up consistently and all that stuff. And when we started looking at it, it's like, oh, I think we can make that work. And like, it's definitely not just a joint that you can say, hey, let's just make this and call it a day. Like, it's, you got to maintain some tight tolerances to do it. And so we tried that out and it was like, oh, this is actually better. And also it had the added benefit of now we can use the torque wrench that comes in with every single golf club purchase, and you have the positive like the actual feedback from the torque wrench to say, hey, it's tight.
It's in.
And it was, so that was a hidden bonus of, hey, we can make the same screw design, we can make the same wrench, and people don't have to buy an extra tool to make this work. And that was when Jackson had that idea. It's like,
duh,
we got it.
Every golfer has one of these,
right? And if you don't, talk to your buddy. He's probably got 3 in his bag.
I've got 20 in my garage.
I've got one on my keychain.
we talk about it all the time, because we always keep them in our pocket during fitting this. And if we had one of these that around our neck that you just separate and goes right back, it would be amazing.
Have you ever used a power drill in your fittings?
Yeah, they just scare me.
They do, but
they scare
boy,
me.
Is it fast.
It's so nice. Well, there's a hack where you take a ferrule and you super glue a ferrule, and so it's a twist spin instead of a. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. I've done 2 of them, but they break easy. So if the manufacturers of these would just extend a shaft straight up just so you can spin it. Oh, it's so nice.
Yeah, they don't care about feathers.
It's so, yeah, it feels cumbersome in the hand to do that.
Yeah. right, so what's next? What's next for you guys? What's in the business model? What's
Belly
your
putters.
belly putters?
No, it's
Well, for me, I'm short. I'm 5'8", so this 17-inch grip on this made it a belly putter. So
yeah. I mean, I think for us, it's maybe trying to tinker around with some different weight options in the shaft itself, and see if the joint is going to hold the integrity of the entire shaft itself. I think the lighter it gets, the lighter the shaft is, there is maybe an opportunity for some disconnection and feel. But I think for us, it's so important that we take advantage of the opportunity that we have a very unique product out in the golf space right now that is very new and not exactly market tested quite yet. And it's very much in the early adoption stages. So, our minds are always spinning of how we can make it better, how we can make sure that from a quality side of things, everything that we're putting out is perfect. And so far, we're very confident with everything that anybody has received at this point is experiencing exactly what we are, and including yourself, Matt, where we want to be we want to believe that everything that anybody has received is as good as it gets when it comes to how it's assembled and how it's built. And it's very, very well thought through. Mike has done a very, very good job with creating something that is not going to compromise the golf club in somebody's hands. It's not going to compromise how somebody performs just to get an innovation out there. We've been pretty calculated as far as what does this look like as far as making sure that this is not so different than what everybody else is currently using. And and I've said this to Jeff. Jeff is an incredible marketer for us, and he does an incredible job.
yes, he does.
But one thing that I've really, really kind of preached to him is we're high performance, and wow, I can't think of the word that I'm looking to use right now.
Have some more bourbon.
No kidding. High performance, high versatility.
There you go.
So it's one of those things where we know that we have a product that is going to allow people to do something they've never been able to really do before, in a way that they can do it with any grip on the market. And to get performance benefits out of it, along with the freedom and versatility that you get out of our product, it's hard to believe that you can find anything that you would rather putt with. And I feel like we're priced at a pretty fair price, all things considered, when it comes to performance putting shafts. And
let's get into that. What can people expect to pay?
So $95 gets them an XG1, $129 gets them a Discovery Pack, and Discovery Pack is an XG1, so you get your full base to connect to the putter head, and then you get 3 handles. You can pick and choose what grips you want to put on those handles, and you basically have built 3 putters at your fingertips.
Yeah.
And
130, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, and then the other kind of marquee product that we're really trying to push people into is our Ultimate Discovery Pack. And that includes an XG1, 3 handles, and 3 Garson grips of your choice. And we all know that Garson does an incredible job with their portfolio of products and their variety that they offer. And it's not a one shape for everyone type of company, as they should be with being a really good putter grip company. But we feel that if you were to have your putter and have 3 different handles and have 3 different grips of your choosing and have the freedom to change those in and out at your fingertips with a click of a wrench or a twist of a wrench, so to speak, it's hard to beat an opportunity, and you can get that for $229.
Yeah.
$230. It gets you an Ultimate Discovery Pack. So you get a shaft, 3 handles, and 3 grips. And, you know, when we're talking in the world of aftermarket putter shafts, you're buying one shaft for well over $300. Mm-hmm. And, you know, hopefully you like it.
You better like it.
And to add to that too, like the pricing was like, we believe that the quality of the shaft could put us in the world of premium putter shafts. But there's also an intentionality and a responsibility. Like, we want people to tinker. And so who's gonna tinker with a handle that costs $70, right? Like, if we were to price it accordingly, and so like an additional handle is what, $25? And so like we want it to be accessible, and we don't want to price people out of the ability to tinker with their golf game. And I feel like, you know, Jackson and we've had a lot of conversations about that, and honestly, like, from the psychology side of things, like, selling it for $300 might actually entice more people to buy it. And
there's freaking golf psychos out there that
like sometimes having an extra 0 behind it makes it more appealing for people to buy. But we also, like, we're golfers. We understand what the financial impact is. I'm a golfer that I pay for everything, right? And, you know, so it's like, oh, if I'm gonna have to spend this much money, I'm just gonna stick with what I got, and we want people to use it, and I think that's important too. Is like,
I think if you look at, if you were to buy an XG1, you set up your putter, you get a base, you get a handle, you put whatever grip you want on it, and you're happy. You get the performance benefits, but you have that one grip, and you spend $100 and you buy 4 handles, and then you spend another $100 and you get 4 grips. $200 and you just built yourself 12 putters.
Yeah.
No, you just built yourself a lot of different combinations.
Yeah.
Now, put an XG1 base in a different putter head and have all those handles. Like, I have probably 7 or 8 heads that all have XG1s in them, and I have probably a dozen handles. So again, math is not my strength, but I have quite a few putter combinations that I can go to.
Yeah.
And I can go to based on what my coach thinks is best for me. I can go to based on what my field thinks is best for me. And I can go to based on, you know, a little bit of what the statistics are showing me. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. This was one putter. And with the XG1, I have 3 putters now, basically. Yeah. You know, it's pretty bad.
Well, and I also think there's another hidden, and this just kind of appeals to the golf nerds out there, but like, okay, limited edition grips, who's going to buy, say someone was lucky enough to get the Masters Edition one that sold out in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, what happens if they change putters but they fell in love with that grip? Or, hey, I've got this limited edition grip.
Yeah.
I mean, now I've got the Players, I've got the Masters, and it's like, well, now I can keep these grips and I can swap them out and I can get the whole collection and I'm never going to have to cut them off. And I think there's something to that too. Like
there's no point in buying a grip if you're not planning on using it.
Like, this is never coming off this.
Right.
There's no reason for it to.
Right.
Ever.
Putter grips don't really wear out unless you are playing insane amounts.
Jordan Spieth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's also using that brand that wears out fast.
Yeah. Doesn't last.
So, I think the other element is there's a craze that's been leaking into the market even harder than zero torque. And it's been, it's not leaking in, it's already leaked in, and it's become very, very popular, and it doesn't appeal to everybody, but it's very good for a lot of players. And that's counterbalance. I can take any of my mallets. I'm not sure I would do it for a blade, but don't get me wrong. I've thrown a long grip onto a blade and it's been different.
Yeah.
I could take any of my mallets and go from standard length 37, 38 inches in a heartbeat.
Yep.
And there you
go.
There's a lot to be said about that, because if you want to take your mallet, throw a longer grip on it because that's what feels better for you, you're either going to have to go through the whole process of extension, get a new grip, the time, whatever investment that is to make that happen, or you buy a new putter. And I don't think there are plenty of us probably listening to the show that like buying new putters, but we can alleviate that very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Perfect example is when I got this Scotty, I was like, I haven't played a mallet since the 2-ball. And
Great
putter.
Great putter. My dad still has his. And so it's like I haven't played a putter in 15 to 20 years. So do I want counterbalance or do I want a standard grip? And I literally went onto the putting green after getting this, and I had a quad tour, I had the ultimate, I had an ultimate 17, and I had the quad tour 15. And I literally sat there for an hour and just tinkered with 4 different grips on one putter until I found something I liked. And now I also have those other grips that I can use on different putters. And so I can swap between them if ever I decide. I mean, I haven't been playing the Scotty, but if ever I decide I want to give it a shot, maybe I get the yips somehow and need to go to something else.
We didn't talk about that on this. We don't talk about that ever.
Yeah.
So I know you guys love the positive feedback. I'm a fan. I'm a fanboy. I know you like hearing what I have to say about it. Has there been any feedback that's been on the negative side that you guys are addressing or have any concerns about?
I think the biggest one is, first of all, a handful of people say it's gimmicky. And you're entitled to your opinion. Jackson and I would argue against that because we do think it is not gimmicky. It provides value to golfers, and in more ways than one. And then if playing devil's advocate, we haven't necessarily heard like the feedback, but as an engineer or a potential consumer, I would be concerned that I'd be able to feel that there's a joint in my putter shaft. And that's one thing where it's like, you guys need to feel it. Like, you cannot feel any
But
separation,
what was
any.
it, the Medicus, the training aid that had the knuckle in it that if you swung on plane, it didn't bend, but as soon as you were off, it cracked.
Yeah,
I mean,
but really, you had to open the face 45
Yeah.
degrees to make it actually work.
I'm not gonna lie. When I put this on and got ready to roll the putt the first time, I'm like, I'm gonna feel that. I'm gonna feel it. And if you don't, I
Right.
will attest, you do not feel it.
Yep. And it's easy. It's easy to say, hey, you're not going to feel it. And that's one of the things we're trying to let people know is like, yeah, you can have your doubts on it, but like you cannot feel any slop. You can't feel when you take it back, if you were to shake it, you can't feel that anything's disjointed there. And it took time to get that joint just right. And but we did.
I think there's also, and as you know, as a club fitter, there's a massive investment that goes into upgrading to an aftermarket component. And you get a lot of people trying to weigh the options of, are my dollars going to result in this making enough of a difference? And I think you see that with aftermarket components, especially shafts, especially putter shafts, because we're only swinging that thing at about 4 or 5 miles an hour. What is it really going to do? And we know that there are great putters out there that are putting with a very, very typical steel putter shaft. They know how to stroke it. They know how, and they built a feel around that, and they did that, this and that. Like we get that, but we also get that whatever you're putting with, you can make a lot of putts with if you're stroking it well and you're squaring it up and starting it on line, you have good speed. So with that in mind, we're the only thing out there that you can putt with, have performance benefits with, but then also create this variation of options and this versatility amongst what is actually sitting in your hands. And that is the single most important part, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think there are a lot of putter fitters out there that will argue against me with this, and I'm totally fine with that. And I'm not going to disagree with them that the head means a lot. It just flat out does. But you could have the best fitting of your life and get fit into the best putter you've ever been fit for. And if it doesn't feel good to you, you're just not going to see results.
Yeah.
And I get the 6-week thing. Give it 6 weeks. Give it 6 weeks. I mean, if I had $1 for every fitter I've heard say, give it 6 weeks.
No.
It's just tough. I give it 6 months. It's just tough.
Yeah.
And putters and people that want to see different results on a putting green, they're looking for fast results. They're looking for a quick change. They're looking for something that's going to alter their mindset. They're going to look for something that's going to change their psychology over the ball. They're going to look for something that is going to flat out change their feel. And, our slogan, find your feel, is not, it's not like we, had someone come up with that for us. It was right there. And that's what him and I were doing. That's what Mike and Ike, that's what Mike and I were doing together is, what are we going to create that's going to allow this to happen?
Mm-hmm.
And for both of us, where that was important, it became pretty easy. So there's nothing out there like it. There's nothing out there that gives you that opportunity at this, level of ease. And especially from a cost effectiveness side of things, you're just not going to find something out there that's going to allow you to invest in options versus a singular option.
Yeah.
All right. The website is Xchange Golf, XCHANGE golf.com. Somebody goes on the website, places an order. How soon can they expect it?
It'll ship next day. Depends on the weekend.
Yeah.
A day or two. Yeah.
Day or two. Awesome. Well, guys, I thank you so much. I know it's late where you are in Michigan. I really appreciate you hopping on. I'm looking forward to seeing the feedback from this. I know Jake Morrow got his hands on some from Made the Range, and he's loving it. You're going to start blowing up. I know it. I'm excited for you. You've got a very unique product on your hands, and you should be proud. It's hard. What you're doing is hard to do in the golf space. Not a lot of people succeed in this industry, and I think you have something that is going to start turning some heads for a lot of people. So I'm excited for you guys.
Thank you, Matt. We appreciate that.
So this is going to be on our YouTube channel. It's going to be on the audio formats. It'll go out to everybody next week. And thank you guys so much again for doing it. I'm going to talk with Jeff. We're going to get our hands on an XG1, and we're going to give some away to some of the listeners of the show during the live. So more people will be getting it. The more people that get it, the better it is for you guys, because they're going to figure it out that, yeah, this is no joke. So again, thank you so much for hopping on, and we'll be watching to see what's happening with you guys. Thanks so much.
Appreciate the
Thanks for having us,
opportunity,
Matt.
Thank you.